Hey guys, welcome to this video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing about how to build wealth while working in 9 to 5. I know we've heard a lot of things on social media today where people make it look like you have to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a business owner before you build wealth. Yes, that is true, but not everybody is cut out to be a business owner. Not everybody is cut out to be an entrepreneur. And there are so many other ways that you can build wealth. There are a lot of people who had 9 to 5 that are wealthy today. You don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be, selling something to build wealth. I'm going to talk more about selling something much later. What I'm going to be sharing in this video are things that I picked up, I learned as I grew up. I have read books, I have watched videos, I have listened to podcasts, I have practiced things, I have seen what works, and I have listened to people that have actually built wealth while doing 9 to 5, while working in 9 to 5. And I can tell you that you don't need to open your own business. You don't need to be an entrepreneur to build wealth. You can build wealth in different ways. You can also build wealth, and you can start building wealth in any level that you are. So in this video, I'm not going to be sympathizing with you. I'm not going to be sympathizing with the fact that, oh, your income is not enough. Oh, you're not earning enough money. You need to change jobs. That's not what I'm going to be talking about here. You can build wealth from somewhere. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one, right? They always say that little drops of water makes an ocean. And yes, it is better for you to have a lot of income so that you can be able to save and invest. But I guarantee you that if you do not start investing with the very little income you have, there are very low chances that you will do it when your income is high. Because the same principles apply. People that have a lot of money can be broke too. And it does not really matter how much you earn at the end of the month. It does matter what you do with what you earn. At the end of the day, this is just personal advice from me. It is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. So if you need financial advice, always contact a financial advisor or a wealth manager. But I'm just going to be sharing based on my experience. Also because I think I did a video talking about my finances sometime early this year, and somebody said I should do more videos. A lot of people have also reached out to me asking questions about, oh, how do you invest? What platforms do you invest with? Well, how do you save? How do you budget? Which is why I just thought, okay, it is time for me to make this video. I've always wanted to make this video, but I've just not had the time to. And I just felt like there are other platforms that do a lot of content about finances. And I just thought, okay, those ones are covered. And there are people that watch me who would want this information. So I'm going to be sharing as much as I know. This year, I've decided I'm going to share whatever knowledge I have. It doesn't have to be about working abroad. It doesn't have to be about studying abroad. It doesn't have to be about how to get scholarships. Whatever knowledge I have that I know it will help people, I'm going to share it. So welcome to this video. If you're yet to subscribe, please do well to subscribe and like this video. Share this video to your friends. This is like me and you just chit-chatting. It's like a friend chatting to another friend. It's like a big sister, your internet big sister, talking to you about money, how to manage your money, how to handle your money, and how to get your money to do the best work for you. So if you work 9 to 5, do not think that you have to quit your job before you start building wealth. You don't think that you have to quit your 9 to 5 and go start a business before you start building wealth, okay? So I have my phone here. Of course, I'm going to be looking through my phone because I really took down notes because I didn't want to miss anything. The first way to build wealth while working in 9 to 5 as a professional is to improve your financial knowledge by reading books, okay? I started reading financial books when I just left law school. I knew that I was going to be making my first paycheck. Like, of course, when you leave law school, you're going to get a job, you do your NYC and you start making money. So I started reading a lot of financial books then because they don't teach us about money in school. So if you want to learn about money, you have to make a deliberate effort to learn about money. If you don't make a deliberate effort to learn about money, then you're not going to be able to learn. So don't think that you're just going to wake up one day and know everything about money and finances and investing and everything you need to do until you make deliberate efforts to say, I want to learn about finances. So you start reading financial books. I'm going to recommend a few financial books that I read. There are lots of financial books out there, but if you read these ones, it's going to, give you the knowledge that you need to get started, because I cannot share everything I know about finances in this video. You have to just start somewhere. So if you're in Nigeria, you can start reading Smart Money Woman by Arese Ugu. And then, of course, there's Smart Money Woman 1, there's Smart Money Woman 2. There's also Smart Money Woman series on YouTube, so you can go and watch because it teaches money lessons. Another book you should read is Millionaire Next Door. You should also read The Millionaire Mindset. There's another book, of course, Think and Grow Rich. You should read that. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is one of the most popular financial books. So if you have not read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, probably start from there. I don't want to be shading anybody in this video, but I just feel like if you're watching probably in your 20s or in your 30s and you've not read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you're just sleeping on a bicycle because you are taking your finances for a joke. So start by reading these books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a series. So the first series is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Then the second series, they have other series. I think I read like 3 series in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read Think and Grow Rich. Like I said, You can also read The Psychology of Money. I've already mentioned Smart Money Woman, and then read The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. Those are a few books that I think will help, especially for beginners, so that these are books that teaches financial principles, what you should do, how you should do it, how you should start. When you read books like this, it prepares your mind to be able to take action. So start by reading books, and you can buy the hard copy of these books. You can buy the soft copy. You can even listen to them on audio. So you can use Kindle to listen to audiobooks. You can use Audible to listen to audiobooks. And also people make summary of these books on YouTube. These authors also have YouTube channels that they talk about these books and they explain the principles behind these books. So read books. That's where you should start. If you have no idea about managing your money or building wealth, start by reading books. Also, there are a lot of financial educators online, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. You can follow them, because when I started my financial journey, and even now, I watch a lot of channels that dish out financial information, financial advice, financial knowledge, everything money. Like if I open my YouTube channel and I see anything money related, best believe I will watch it, because you need to expand your knowledge. You need to learn what other people learn. You need to know what you need to do in order to build wealth. And like I said, watching financial videos, reading financial books, listening to financial podcasts will get you a step forward. Another thing is understand your risk appetite, whether it is high, medium, or low. So when you finish reading these books, you're going to have some knowledge. And you will see that these books also talk about risk appetite. What kind of person are you with money? Do you like to take a lot of risk with money? Is your appetite medium or low to risk? So this is based on investment or saving. So if you are a very high risk taker, then you would do high risk investments, and high risk investments usually produce high returns. So the higher the return on investment, the higher the risk. That's what you need to know. The lower the return on investment, the lower the risk. So things like fixed deposits are low risk investments, because of course the interest is fixed. Interest you're going to get is fixed, and you're not going to do anything. You just put the money and you know the interest, and when the time is right, you get your interest. So those are very low effort investments with low risk. So your money is safe. When it's low risk, your capital is almost safe. There are very low chances that you're going to lose that money, which is why it's low risk. So with investments, the higher the interest, the higher the outcome, the higher the dividend, the higher the risk. So you need to know that whenever you're going to invest your money, you need to understand that you may lose that money. I'm going to share more about kinds of investment that you can make. Of course, like I said, this is not financial advice. Whatever I share in this video is the knowledge that I have gathered over the years. I started reading about money in 2018, and this is about 8 years or 7 years now. So I know a little about my personal finances, which is why I'm sharing with you guys. So understand your risk appetite. I have a friend whose risk appetite is very high. She's the kind of person that will buy cryptocurrencies. I don't buy crypto because I do not have appetite. I bought Bitcoin and Ethereum only when it became very stable. But now I no longer buy cryptos because I think crypto is a very high risk investment for people with high risk appetite. I don't have a high risk appetite. So you need to understand yourself. You need to know, what kind of person am I? You don't want to get into something that would not make you be able to sleep at night. If you're a very low risk taker, I will not advise you to go take high risk or to go engage yourself in high risk investment, because you will not be able to sleep at night. And if you lose that money, you might go crazy, and that's not what you want. So now I believe that you have read financial books. You now know the kind of risk that you can take, whether you're a high risk taker, you know your risk appetite, whether it is high, medium, or low. Now you need to learn to pay yourself first. Another thing I learned in reading those books is the meaning of how to pay yourself first. So paying yourself first means that you will keep some money aside when you earn this money. So because when you earn money, you're spending on everything. You're spending on your rent, you're spending on your transport, you're spending on food. You're not paying yourself, you're just spending it. You're paying other people. When you buy food at the grocery store, you're paying the grocery store. When you buy a car, you're paying the car owner. When you buy a house, you're paying the house owner. When you pay your rent, you're paying the house owner, your landlord money. But when you pay yourself first, it means you're keeping money aside for yourself in the future. That's what it means to pay yourself first. So pay yourself first by savings, by investing the money. So when you pay yourself first, you're not spending 100% of your income. You're keeping aside some money for savings and investments. I'm not talking about the kind of savings that you keep aside the money and then you use it to buy something in 3 months or 6 months. No.
I declare bankruptcy!
You're not meant to be touching this money. You're supposed to use that part of paying yourself, the percentage of money that you're using to pay yourself. You're supposed to keep it, invest it, and let it earn money for you. That's because that money is, you put it and it's earning more money for you. And then you're paying yourself first. So for instance, when you keep aside money, you're going to use it for savings, investments, and some investments that you can use is like money market funds. When I used to live in Nigeria, I was doing money market funds, mutual funds with my bank. Every bank has these kinds of investment. They have fixed deposit, they have mutual funds, they have different types of investments. Ask your bank, ask your account manager. If you don't know how to invest, you can ask them. Different banks offer different investment opportunities. And now that I live in the UK, I use different options. You can buy stocks, you can buy shares, you can buy index funds, you can buy mutual funds, you can put your money in high yield savings accounts. So these are the different options that you can use to invest the money that you use to pay yourself first. So for instance, when you receive any income, you can use there are different rules. So when you read the books, you're going to see different rules of how you should budget. Some people say, 50% should go to your fixed cost, which is like your rent, your transportation, your feeding. Those costs are very fixed every month. You cannot change them. And then 30% should go to your needs, which is like travel, vacation, making your nails, making your days, leisure, eating out and all of that. And then 20% should go to your savings and investment. So you're going to save, you're going to invest, and you're going to build your emergency fund from there. So another rule, like all these rules I picked up from reading, there are rules that say, your rent should not be more than 30% of your income. If your rent is more than 30% of your income, you are spending too much money on your rent. You are renting a house that you cannot afford. So those are rules as well. You should not be spending 100% of your income. You should definitely ensure that you keep aside 20 to 25% of your income that goes into savings and investment. Not the savings that you're saving for a bag, you're saving for a shoe. Not that kind of savings. I'm not talking about savings that you're saving for a car. Not that type of saving. You should be going into savings that you will use to make more money for yourself. Money that you can keep aside to ensure that you either invest it or put it in a high yield savings account or put it in a fixed deposit account so that money will now earn interest for you. If you live in the UK, there are different accounts that you can open to help you invest and save. So there are accounts that are called individual savings accounts. Individual savings accounts are accounts that government provide for individuals to save without paying tax on any interest. So for instance, there is there's a stocks and shares individual savings account, so stocks and shares ISA, and then there is a lifetime ISA. So lifetime ISA is for only two things: for people who want to buy a house, their first house, and for people who are saving for retirement. So if you live in the UK and you are below 40 years and you haven't bought your first house yet, you should open a lifetime ISA account. People that provide, like financial institutions that provide lifetime ISA are different, but the account is the same thing. So for me, I use Moneybox for my lifetime ISA, but I know there's another one called Plum, and then even some banks offer lifetime ISA. The same principle applies. The lifetime ISA allows you to deposit up to £4,000 a year, and you would get 25% bonus from the government. So if you deposit £4,000 a year, the government will give you £1,000. There are very little investments out there that you will do that will give you 25% return annually. So for you to have an opportunity where you deposit an amount and the government matches it with 25% interest, then you should be taking the opportunity with both hands. So say you live in the UK and you've not bought your first house yet, it's a good option to open a lifetime ISA so that you would be depositing money into there and the government will be matching it with 25% bonus. When you're ready to buy a house, you take the money and buy a house. When you open a lifetime ISA, you cannot use the money for any other thing than to buy your first house or leave it there for your pensions and retirement. And you need to note that lifetime ISA accounts are only for people below 40 years, so from 40 and below. So if you are more than 40, you will not be able to open a lifetime ISA again. But if you are below 40 years, you can open a lifetime ISA, pay in money into there. The amount of money that you can pay, the maximum amount that you can pay into your lifetime ISA in a year is £4,000. And if you pay £4,000 into your lifetime ISA, the government will give you 25%, which is £1,000. So at the end of the day, you're going to be getting £5,000. So say you want to buy a house in 3 years and you pay £4,000 for 3 years, that's £12,000. And then the government will give you £1,000 for each, and then that will be £3,000 interest, and then you have 15k at the end of 3 years, and you can use it to buy a house. You can also leave the money there for your retirement, and then in this lifetime ISA, the money will be accumulating interest as well, apart from the interest that the government is giving you. So another restriction with the lifetime ISA is that the house you can buy with the money in a lifetime ISA has to be either 450,000k or lesser. You cannot buy any house that is more than 450,000. So these are accounts that you can open that will give you, advantage. So you can also open a stocks and shares ISA where you can buy stocks buy shares, buy investment. I have a stocks and shares ISA, and I use Vanguard for my stocks and shares ISA. Stocks and shares ISA, you be able to buy stocks and buy shares, and government will not tax you. They are tax-free accounts. And if you have a child, if you have kids, you can open a junior ISA for them as well. That's like a junior individual savings account. So when you pay money into this account, you would not be taxed. Government will not tax you. And when you earn interest on them, government will not tax you. So these are different ways that you can utilize to ensure that you get the best out of your money. The money, the 20% or the 25% or 30% that you are keeping aside for savings and investment, when you put your money in, say you put some in a lifetime ISA, you put some in a stocks and shares ISA, you put some in fixed deposit, you put some in real estate, you diversify your portfolio so that you can allow your money to make more money for you. There are platforms that you can, buy investment, buy stocks. And like I said, I use Vanguard and I buy index funds. Index funds is just like mutual funds. It's like buying a basket of different stocks. For instance, I buy S&P 500. S&P 500 is like the basket of most profitable 500 companies in the US. So Apple is there, Microsoft is there, Tesla is there, Coca-Cola is there, every different companies are there, and you are just buying a stake into that 500 portfolio, into that pot of 500 companies, which means that if one share goes up and one share goes down, you will be able to balance it. So it's different from buying an individual stock, like say buy stocks at Apple. If you buy stocks at Apple and the stocks at Apple drops, it's going to affect you. Your money will drop. If it goes up, your money will go up. So buying individual stocks is more like buying a high risk investment because you can lose your capital. If the company falls up, you can lose your capital. But if the company profits, you can profit a lot. For instance, people that bought Amazon shares, there was a time that Amazon shares was very cheap. And after I think 5 or 10 years, Amazon shares really rose. So people made a lot of money. So people that bought individual Amazon shares made a lot of money. However, if you're buying in a basket of funds like index fund or mutual funds, which is not just Amazon shares, there's a lot of other companies that are there, then it balances out. It's like you're staying in the middle. So if one company or two company shares really drop, it will not really affect you because there are other shares that are in there. So like I said, I'm not a financial advisor and I may not be able to really explain a lot about it, but you can watch videos from other YouTube channels that give financial information so you can understand more. Read books. These books that I've recommended, they will explain to you what it means. Warren Buffett, which is one of the richest men in the world, Warren Buffett, which is a businessman and an investor. I've read a couple of his books. I've listened to a couple of his podcasts. He always advises you buy index funds for people that have a low risk appetite like me. Index funds is the best. And when you're buying stocks and shares, it is a long-term investment. You should be holding it for a minimum of 5 years because that's the only way you can see how it grows. Your money can really multiply. For instance, my stocks and shares ISA account, I started investing. I opened a Vanguard account for my stocks and shares when I came to the UK for my master's degree in 2020. And I've been putting money in there since 2020. And whenever I look at it, it has returned almost 80% on top. So the money I have put in my stocks and shares ISA, because I buy index funds only, I buy S&P 500 and a couple of other index funds, the returns on investment is 80%. But there are some stocks that went up. I did not really benefit a lot because I did not buy individual stocks. So it depends on what your risk appetite is. If you have a very high risk appetite, you can buy individual stocks. If you have a low risk appetite, you can buy index funds. But at the end of the day, find an investment that meets your interest and meets your risk appetite and buy. You need to invest your money. You need to put your money in fixed deposit to get you interest. You can invest in businesses and get monthly returns. I know that I've invested in a few businesses and I've gotten monthly returns. Ask your friends, talk to financial advisors, talk to your accountants, talk to your friends. Let them know that you would like to invest. Follow investment advisors and listen to them. The more you listen, the more you read books, you will get this knowledge. I might not be able to explain to you because I'm not a financial advisor. I might not be able to teach you on a step-by-step, but at least I've given you pointers where you can start. Okay, if you go check a few YouTube channels that talk about investing, talk about how to build wealth, they will give you recommendations. So like I said, my stocks and shares account is with Vanguard, but there are other platforms like eToro, there is Trading 212, and there is Plum. Like I said, I think Plum allows you to invest in stocks and shares as well. And for my lifetime ISA, I use Moneybox, but I know that Plum also offers lifetime ISA and some banks also offer lifetime ISA. So don't sleep on this. You need to go out there and seek financial knowledge, and you need to make decisions so that in years to come, you will not regret. Okay. And when you decide to make this investment, you need to learn how to automate the process. I use direct debit so that when my salary is paid, the money that I used to pay myself automatically goes to my savings and investment account, automatically goes to my money box. I don't have to go and use my hand to transfer, because when you have to go and use your hand to do the transfer, you might be lazy about it, or you might feel like, oh, I have so many expenses this month, I will not be able to invest this month. But when it's an automatic process, you don't have to do anything for it to happen, then you don't have a choice. And whenever you say, okay, if you say that you're going to keep 20% of your money for investing, for instance, if you live in the UK and you say every month I'm going to be investing £300, just think that in your mind you don't have that £300. That £300 is not yours. It's not yours to spend. It's not available for you to spend. It's not available to use for you to use and pay your debt. It's not available for you to use and meet your monthly bills. No, it goes straight to your account. So you can always automate. These platforms allow you to automate the process. And then, in fact, in my Vanguard account, it allows my money to go straight from my bank account into my Vanguard account and buys the S&P 500 for me automatically. So I don't need to do anything for me to pay myself. I don't need to do anything extra to invest, to keep investing every month, because I have automated the process. So make sure you try to automate the process, because when the process is automated, then it is easier for you. When I was in Nigeria, I used to do a standing order to my mutual funds account. I did a mutual funds account with First Bank and with Stanbic IBTC. So my money would leave my account on a certain day every month and go straight to my mutual funds account. I don't need to do anything. So when you automate the process, it is faster and quicker for you. And you don't have to think about it too much. You don't have to start rationalizing it and say, oh, I don't think I have enough money for this month, because the process is automated. Another thing is, like, you need to know is investment is long term. It is not forex trading. Forex trading is a type of trading that you wake up every morning and you be monitoring the market. When you are investing for the long term, you don't have to monitor the market because you do not care. You just keep investing, you keep investing so that your money will double. Like, there's something called compounding interest. Compounding interest is when you buy stocks and shares that, you know, as the stocks and shares is growing, they're paying you interest. The interest, you are now reinvesting the interest on top of the interest, on top of the capital. So you're reinvesting every money you get. So your interest is compounding and it's compounding and it's compounding. So in the next 5 to 10 years, you will see viable results. If you're buying stocks and shares, don't expect that in the next 6 months, you're going to see changes. You might buy the stocks today for £200 and you come back in the next 6 months and that £200 has dropped to £150. That's not a reason for you to withdraw the money, because you'll be withdrawing at a loss. But keep that money for 5 years and you come back and see that same stocks that you bought at £200 is probably £400. And say you've invested £20,000 in, that means in 5 years and 10 years, it could double to £30,000, £40,000 with the power of compounding interest. So you need to read more about compounding interest, how to invest and where to invest. There are lots of information out there. In today's internet age, you do not have an excuse to say, oh, I don't know something. It's okay for you to say, I don't know. But if you identify that you don't know, what are you doing to change it? Go and look for information and look for the right information. Listen to the right people. Another thing is, for you to be able to build wealth, you need to learn to spend below your means. You need to learn to budget. I've already told you the budgeting, different people budget differently. 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, 20% for your investments. You can decide, if you earn a lot of money, that you don't need to spend up to 50% for your needs. You can decide to invest 50%. You can decide to invest 40%. So the aim is for you to invest as much as you want, and you need to make sure that you diversify your portfolio, because that's the only way that you manage the risk. You cannot put all your money in stocks. You cannot put all your money in a business and say, I'm investing in this business so that they can pay me returns. You cannot put all your money there, because what if the business crashes? You cannot put all your money in mutual funds, because you can lose the money. You cannot use all your money, or all the money that you keep aside to invest. You cannot use it to do forex trading, because it's a high risk investment. So you need to learn to spread your investment across board. Whatever I say in this video, I learned it in the books that I read. So like I said, those books that I recommended at the beginning of this video is the foundation to your financial freedom. So when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, that was when I got to learn about the rat race. The rat race is you're literally always eating from hand to mouth. You're spending money from hand to mouth. Once you receive the money, you spend all of it. The money finishes. You're expecting the next salary. That's literally a rat race, and you cannot build wealth like that. So another thing that you can do to build wealth, apart from spending below your means. So spending below your means that you don't spend 100% of your earnings, and the fact that you can afford that thing does not mean you should buy it. I've also read in one of the books that they said, if you cannot afford something 3 times, it means you cannot afford it. So for instance, if you want to buy a car and the money you have cannot buy that car 3 times, then you cannot afford that car. I've read a lot of financial principles. When you read a lot of these financial principles, you pick some and leave some. You pick the ones that you think you can do, the ones that you think make sense to you. You pick them and you leave the rest. So I read a lot of these financial principles, that if you cannot buy something 3 times, then you cannot afford it. Some people even say if you cannot buy something 4 times, then you cannot afford it. Because people feel like, oh, I have the money, I can buy it. But the question is, can you afford it, and should you even buy it? Other people also propose that when you want to buy something, that you should not buy something at the first time you see it. So if you go into a shop and you see a bag and the bag is fine and you would like to buy it, don't buy it then. Go home and think about it. They maybe leave 2 days to pass and 3 days to pass. And then if you still think that you need that bag and it's so nice and you want it, you can then go back and buy it. You have to to practice delayed gratification. You don't have to be spending on impulse. When you spend on impulse, you are ruining your finances. When every time you're spending on impulse, you are ruining your finances. So you have to budget so that you have budget for your leisure, where you can go out for restaurant, go and eat out there, buy yourself stuff, so that when you budget and you say, okay, this month I'm spending £200 on restaurants and spending £400 on my clothes. If that budget finishes, if that amount finishes, you know that that's it for the month. You cannot do more. So, but if you don't budget, then you're just going to keep spending, and you don't know how much you've spent on eating out. You don't know how much you've spent on Uber. You don't know how much you've spent on this and that. You don't know how much you've spent on impulse buying. That's why you need to budget. Another way of building financial wealth is to build your credit score, to have a good credit score. Because when you have a good credit score, you are able to borrow money and have very low interest. So for instance, in the UK, if you want to buy a house, of course, you may not be able to afford 400,000 to buy a house. So you're going to pay a down payment, maybe 10% or 20% of the value of the house. And then you're going to be paying the mortgage monthly. Now you're going to be paying with interest. If you have a good credit score, your interest will be low and good. If your credit score is not good, then your interest will be very high, and you don't want that. So how can you build your credit score? First thing, you have to take credit. You have to take credit. Taking credit means borrowing money. You have to borrow money. The first step is get yourself a credit card. And when you get yourself a credit card, I have also read from, financial principles say that you should not spend more than 25% or 30% of your credit allowance. So for instance, I have a credit card from Amex. That is British Airways Amex, American Express. That's the credit card that I use. And my credit allowance is about £5,000. My credit allowance is about £5,000. So the principle says do not use more than 25 to 30% of that £5,000 every month. So it means for that credit card, since my credit allowance is £5,000, I should not spend more than 2,500 will be 50%. I should not spend more than 1,500 every time on that card, because if I spend more than 25 to 30% of my credit allowance, the credit companies are saying this person does not have money. They are always using credits. They don't have financial stability. So when you exhaust your credit limit, some people exhaust their credit limit. Some people, you have a credit allowance of 5k, and before you know it, you have used the entire 5k. That's not a good credit principle, and you do not make your credit score to be good. So you need to learn to build your credit score so that when you are getting mortgage or when you are borrowing money, your interest will be low. How do you build your credit score? Example, do not use more than 25 to 30% of your credit allowance at a time. So until you pay, when you use 25% or 30% of your credit allowance, pay it back before you start using again. So also do not miss your credit date payment. So when you use a credit card, every month you have to pay back a certain limit on a certain day. So for instance, my Amex card, I have to pay back everything that I've used for that month on the 28th of the month. Do not miss the deadline, because when you miss the deadline, you will now be paying interest. So when you miss the deadline, the credit company is saying this person is broke, this person cannot afford their expenses, that's why they are not paying back their credit, and it will affect your credit score. Another thing is you have to register with an electoral register. So like in the last election in 2024, I registered and I voted. When your name is on the electoral register, it boosts your credit score. Another way is pay bills in your name. So if you live in a house that is bills inclusive, you might not be able to pay your bills. You're just paying your rent, and when you pay your rent, it's not going, because you're not paying the rent to government or a government agency, they cannot track your credit score. So but when you pay bills like council tax, water bills, your internet, your Wi-Fi, they are able to track, and then you pay frequently, you pay on time, you are not owing. They can trust you and say, oh, this person can be trusted with money. So your credit score will improve. So that's another way to build your credit score. Another way to build your credit score is try not to apply for too many credits at a time. Say in January, you applied for a credit card. In February, you bought a car on credit. Like you pay a down payment for a car, and then you got a car, and then you're going to be paying off the car every month, small. In March, you are applying to get a mortgage. In April, you are buying something on credit. Maybe you're buying a TV, you're buying a fridge, and you're paying small. You're buying stuff on Shein, buying stuff on Amazon, using Klarna, paying small. Too many credits at a time is going to affect your credit score. So try not to accumulate too many credits or apply for credit too much, because it's going to affect your credit score. Because every time you apply for a credit, they are going to do a credit check on your credit history. If you use Monzo, you will see your credit score on Monzo. I use Monzo and I use Lloyds Bank. Lloyds Bank also shows you your credit score. There are two institutions that compile credit, I think Experian and then TransUnion. So you can always check your credit score there, and then for you to get your credit score, they will probably need your 3 years of history, 3 years of accommodation, or how much you earn in the past 3 years, so that they'll be able to compile and calculate your credit score. So there are so many things relating to credit score. So you need to be able to build your credit score so that you can get better interest rates when you are borrowing money. Then you need to talk about wealth with your friends, put money together and buy an investment together. So if you are building wealth, you need to surround yourself with people who understand how to build wealth, who talk about finances. There's nothing to hide about finances. I talk to my friends about investments and savings and everything I need to do, because some information you don't know, but when you talk to somebody about your interest in investing, making money, then you would hear things that you did not even know existed. It was when I had a conversation with a friend that I found out that I can have a lifetime ISA and I can be getting 25% from the government when I open a lifetime ISA. I didn't know before. But if you're always hiding about money, you never talk about money, nobody knows about your money mindset, whether you are a risk taker. When there are opportunities, you will not know. Because my friends know that I love investing. Whenever there's an investment opportunity, they tell me if I want to take advantage of it. And another thing is you need to be able to manage your fixed costs. You need to be able to manage your fixed costs. So live at affordable places, drive affordable car, go on vacation at affordable destinations. This is another way to live within or live below your means, because some people would say, oh, I earn £2,000 and my rent, my transportation and my food, at the end of the month, it takes the whole £2,000. Another way that you can help yourself is go and live in a low, in a place where the rent is not as high as where you currently live. Live in a shared apartment to save, because you don't have to live on your own if you don't have a family yet. Go to the village and live. Like where I live in the outskirts of town. I never live in the city, because living in the city means paying a lot of rent and is always not value for money. So you don't have to live where you live. You can go somewhere that the rent is cheaper to live. If when you calculate your transportation, your transportation will not now make it too expensive. You can, go to the outskirts to live. Go to where houses are more affordable to live. You don't have to live at expensive areas. You don't have to buy an expensive car. The fact that you can afford a car does not mean you should buy it. You can decide to downgrade the car that you drive. You can decide to live in a more affordable place so that you'll be able to accumulate more money, like have more money to save at the end of the month. And the last thing I'm going to say here that will help you build financial wealth as a 9-to-5 worker is, find ways to make multiple streams of income. You cannot build financial wealth by depending on one source of income. You just earn once a month, but the bills are not coming once a month. You are paying multiple bills and then you just depend on one salary. It will not work. Try to monetize your knowledge. Open a YouTube channel, make content. You can earn money on YouTube. You can earn money by coaching people. Share your knowledge. You can sell something online. You can sell a product. Join affiliate marketing. Do something that would increase your income at the end of the month. You cannot depend on one income and expect that that one income is going to serve all your bills, and also you are going to be able to invest. It might not be possible, especially if you have a family. So I hope this video has been helpful. Let me know in the comment section what you think, and let me know what other videos you would like to see. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.